Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Marathon Mondays with Mal, a special show this morning, and we're really excited to bring another episode of Marathon Mondays to you live from Coburg, Oregon, the world headquarters of Marathon Coach. We are right now sitting in coach number 1185, which is a H3 triple slide that is for sale. We'll get to that a little bit later, but the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to remind you, way back in episode 62, which is not that far back, you guys, let's face it, it was only a couple weeks ago. Hey, check it out. We are going to unbox today the Maritime magazine. The Maritime magazine, as you well know, or if you don't know, is the magazine that is produced in-house by the Marathon marketing team. It's a very, well, let's face it, it's very unique to Marathon. As far as I know, no other company does something like this. So let's go back and take a look at episode 62. We're going to go to a clip. Even though we're live right now with our new studio system, we have the ability to go back to a clip. So let's go back right now to a clip from episode 62 where we were talking to Pete Sutton, head of marketing, about getting ready for the magazine to go to print. And we were actually talking about Sarah's album cover. Isn't that great? I'm thinking music. Magazine cover. Let's check out the clip. Actually, Maritime magazine, which is the magazine that's published by our marketing department, is almost done. And Pete Sutton's in there looking at it. I think the final proof right now. Let's go see if he'll show us. Pete, show me your favorite aspect. If you had to pick one right now, it'll probably change in a half hour, but what's your favorite aspect of this?
The cover, man.
The cover.
It's the cover. And I didn't even do this one. This one was done by Sarah. She, this is a technique that I did a while back, and I had her shoot it for me.
So this is the cover, and this is the back.
That's the back. But what's fun is this coach was shot in our parking lot. The water's real. I mean, we actually brought in a giant water truck, spent $200, and we plugged the drain and flooded the parking lot. So that
I remember when you did this.
You get the pretty reflection of the coach in the water, and then Sarah stitched in the mountains in the background, and she did a really good job.
It's a beautiful picture.
Yeah, it was such a good job. We made it the cover.
So that was kind of a little refresher on something you can go back and look at. So you're kind of wondering, why is Mal holding this? Well, we're doing multicam, and we thought it would be fun for Pete Sutton to hold one camera, which you can see me on, and for me to hold another one, which is probably going to show Todd and Mickey in the background and Pete. And one thing we're going to do is we are going to look at the Maritime magazine unboxing. We literally have a box here and a box cutter, and we are going to open that box from QSL Printing in Eugene and look at that Maritime magazine. But first I want to show you a little bit longer clip. We took the show on the road a couple weeks ago to go to QSL Printing. A good friend of Marathon's that we've worked with a long time, Doug Koke and his family business. They do a really, well, they are one of the best printers here in the Pacific Northwest, and so that's why Marathon teamed up with them for the Maritime magazine and has for many years. So we took the show on the road, went over to QSL Printing, and literally went into the printing press and did kind of a live spot there. Now the audio, I've got to warn you guys, because I know that a lot of people get worried about the audio. The audio in there, because I had to use a microphone because of the sound and the volume and loudness of the printing press, it's a little bit wonky, it's a little bit weird. But the reason for that is because we were actually on the production floor at QSL Printing. So before we unbox the Maritime magazine, let's go to that clip. It's about 11 minutes long, but it shows the process of printing the Maritime magazine. Let's go to that clip now. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Marathon Mondays with Mal, a special edition out at QSL Printing in Springfield, Oregon. And here it is, the Maritime magazine, fresh off the printing press. And we are here at QSL Printing, which is the printing company that Marathon uses to print several items, including the Maritime magazine. And I wanted to specifically come out here this morning to show you what it takes to do a press check at QSL Printing for the Maritime magazine. So I'm going to jump up here and let's head on down this way. I'm using a microphone today only because in this building, look behind me, that's a full printing press, and I wanted to be able to show you kind of what's going on. If you look behind me, you got AJ from QSL Printing and Pete Sutton, the head of marketing from Marathon, talking about what's going on with the press check.
I love it.
Now let's jump in here and see if we can ask a few questions.
Getting permission to bring in a water press. Well, exactly. That's
all right, everybody. So we've got AJ from QSL and Pete Sutton, as you well know from many times seeing him on our Marathon Mondays show, the head of marketing at Marathon. Gentlemen, thank you for taking the time this morning. I know this is a busy day with the press checks that you're doing on the Maritime magazine. First things first, Pete. How many Maritime magazines have we produced as a company?
Holy cow.
Not to put you on the spot, but give me an approximate. How many do you do a year?
Right now we do 2, but if they're 68 pages. There was a time, go back 10 years, we were doing 4 a year, but they were below 40 pages. There wasn't as much content. So now everything's based on the rallies. So as soon as the rally's over, we start producing the magazine.
Excellent. And over to you, AJ. Tell us about this printing press that this is printed on.
Well, it's a CD75. Prints up to 6 colors at a time. The Maritime magazine is just a 4-color process job. My job to get it looking where I like it, and Pete comes in, looks at it, we discuss it, and when he's happy, then I can start running.
That's excellent. Let's talk about that right now. So Pete was telling me last week that there are several press checks throughout the process of the printing. Is that correct?
Yes.
So how many press checks are done? You said how many? 60-some pages?
There's 68 pages, but obviously we're not running individual pages. So this has got 6 pages up, so 6 pages at a time. But the bigger issue is, you know, these guys know me so well, I'm really just kind of doing a spot check. I come in and I know there's certain things that are harder to print. And in this case, you know, Coach 1281, the colors in it are like skin tones, and skin tones are the most sensitive. You can be off by 3% and the colors don't look right. So I know that one I want to check, and then obviously Sarah did an awesome job on the photo for the cover, and I always check the covers, and then I'll walk away and let AJ do his thing, and I won't bug him anymore.
AJ, what do you look for when you're doing a press check?
I keep the color as consistent as possible, keep the registration as close as possible, and that's pretty much what I do.
So it's basically just to make sure that the printing press is printing it properly and that the colors are coming out accurate.
Yes. Yep.
I mean, that's a simple flight. He's kind of simplifying what he does.
Simplifying,
it's a true art form. Every one of these keys adjusts color, and correct me if I'm wrong, AJ, but pretty much in line with these keys up here.
Right.
So AJ the machine will give him a first run start, but then it takes an art to actually go in and balance it to match this. So he's very good at it. Gosh, how long have we worked together?
We've been working together at least 25 years, I think.
Yeah, so AJ knows me pretty well, and not everything we do is really, really tight in color, but in this case, the magazine's up there, not as much as calendar, but it is.
It's up there. We always want the coaches looking good.
That's
Absolutely,
right.
for sure. Well, this is a great example of kind of how far Marathon takes it to make sure that we are bringing to market exactly what we want to show to the customers and to the people that are interested in Marathon Coach. Because here we are on this morning looking at, and now a press check is how many pages?
Well, it's just what's on the sheet. So like Pete said, this is 6 pages up on a sheet. It will end up being 12 pages once we print on the back side and it's all folded together.
Okay.
So
And
basically doing 12 or 6 pages at a time, 12-page forms.
okay. And how many copies of the Maritime approximately are we going to print here at QSL?
This is going to be 5,000 copies in this run.
The Maritime is definitely and it's 100% done in-house.
Yes, we do the photography, the video. Mickey does tons of writing. We do get a few pictures in from our clients as well, and then Sarah does help me with some of it, but it's all done in-house.
And Sarah got the cover.
Sarah got the cover. That was a big one.
Yeah, it's a beautiful picture.
And then we, not only AJ, but Doug Koki, big thanks to him. We've been working with him for eons. So.
And I'm a big fan of Doug Koki, and for those of you who don't know, I used to be the mascot at University of Oregon. And Doug Koki, since let's make that 2001, has driven the Harley out at the beginning of the games. So that's,
by the way,
and you can see it in the background over there. That is the University of Oregon Harley that has been used since 1998. That's a cool bike. I spent some time on the back of that in a duck suit.
Yeah, which that's talent.
Talent not to fall off. Doug and I had some fun on that thing, I tell you. So,
so AJ nailed it. So I'm done with this page. He's
okay,
gonna rock and roll from here.
So not to interrupt you, but to interrupt you, what you do is you look over it, make sure that it's how you want it. You get input from AJ, and then what do you do with it?
Once he okays it, once he okays the color, then I keep the color where he wants it. I just, he okays the sheet. I use that sheet. I'll use that sheet for color, and all 5,000 copies will look as close to that as possible.
Okay, so we talked about the printing process. We talked about, well, for the lack of a better term, the proofing process or the press checks. So let me ask you this: what happens after all of the pages are printed?
Then they head over to the bindery where they'll get cut. 4 pages will get cut off, go to the folder. They get folded all into their signatures. They head to a stitcher where they go into individual pockets and that puts each form together and final trims it. And once it's off the stitcher, goes in the box and that's out the door.
So give me an approximate time frame that takes. So from printing to out the door.
Probably 3 days.
Oh wow,
4 days.
That's fast.
Depending on what other workflows.
For sure, for sure. Well, I guess that's kind of the thing is that a lot of people are going to want to know, Pete, is once it's printing, which is what we're doing today, and then when it's going to be, it goes out to the customers. It's available when people come to Texas, Florida, or our world headquarters in Coburg, Oregon. When they take a tour, we do daily tours at all facilities. They can come and they can get a Maritime magazine. How exciting is that?
Yep, and we're going to start converting it over to the digital side here pretty quick. We extract each story and the photos and start putting them up individually. So, and that'll happen this week. We'll start.
And I really like the idea of going digital with this, but at the same time, I love a good magazine. I really do. You know, whether it be an old Volkswagen magazine when I was a kid, or a hot rod magazine, or a rock and roll magazine, I love a good magazine. And I know the digital is quick and fast, and you can email it around, but it also gives us the opportunity to tell customers, to tell clients, come in and visit us, come in and see us, and grab the new Maritime.
Yeah, that's right. We try and give it kind of touch all bases.
Absolutely.
Digital, print, do it all.
Well, a big thanks to you for letting us come in here. I know this is a busy day for you, and to you, AJ, thank you so much. And for over the years, I know you've worked with Marathon for a long time, so thank you.
Pleasure.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to walk down this way. Thanks, you guys. We're going to walk down this way and take a look at the printing press before we get out of here. So as you'll see behind me and where we started, you've got, I just raised my voice even though I got the microphone. You've got on pallets, you've got different pages of the Maritime, and AJ just put down some more pages right here. This is really a unique look into seeing the marketing team at Marathon and what we do. And this is the printing press that is printed on at QSL. A really good local company in the Eugene, Springfield area. They also do the calendar annually. So thank you to all of you for watching. Love bringing you Marathon Mondays. You know, we get to see behind the scenes a real transparent look at what it takes to build, quite frankly, the best luxury coach in the world. And there is no doubt. And what a top-notch team to produce something like the Maritime magazine. Thanks to all of you. Have a good Monday, have a good week, and be yourself and do good things. I'm out of here. All right, everybody. So I wanted to sit down on the U of O Harley. Doug Koke here at QSL Printing has been driving the Harley out for the games at Austin Stadium for Oregon football since about 2000, 2001, and I was the mascot there for the first 4 years that he drove the Harley out. So I would ride back here in the duck suit, and Doug would be up here trying to control us from not falling off. And it was a great way to go through college. But it's really cool to come out here and see the original Harley that the University of Oregon has led the football team out onto the field with since about 1998. So it's really cool to see.
Overhead.
Well, while we're at it, and we're going to unbox this magazine, Pete, let's talk about the Maritime. Before you crack that box, because I know you're excited to see it, tell me about kind of the history of Maritime magazine and how it's evolved to where it is today.
Well, the Maritime it's been with the company. I'm not even sure how many years now. It's been quite a while. I've been here for 10 years, and it was well established before me. I think I've got issues going back at least 20 years, if not longer. The way it's developed is we at one point were doing about 40 pages an episode or a magazine, but it started becoming routine. There were only a certain number of pages, and certain things had to be in there: the letter from the president, the itineraries of upcoming rallies, a rally review. And we realized, man, we gotta up the ante a little bit. So we brought it up to 68 pages. That way, it gives Mickey some freedom to write about some things that would be a little different, whether it be hot air ballooning with a coach, or we have one gentleman who's a sharpshooter that he goes around and competes. We've got stuff about operations of a coach, what we've done for new gadgets. So that just gave us some freedom. Now we did reduce down the number from or down to just 2 a year, and we time it right after the rallies.
Sure.
So it's a little different, but it's worked out better from content. We can have more freedom to expand the stories and have them be a lot of photography, a little bit more robust in our content. It's not as repetitive.
Absolutely. And you know, one thing that I have noticed looking at the previous magazines, the previous issues, going back historically, one of the things that has evolved is the quality of photos and the quality of the writing. So, you know, not to blow her horn, but let's find the trumpet. When did Mickey start doing the bulk of the writing in Maritime?
5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. That's part of the reason why we went up larger. She has a lot of talent, and giving her that freedom is really important.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, the photography we brought in-house 8 years ago. That was another big change. The digital world certainly helped quite a bit. So it, sorry, one neat thing about these cameras and shooting with these cameras is if you get a phone call in the middle of it, it disrupts things.
It happens.
But anyway, yeah, the digital photography was huge. We currently have 68,000 photos in the archive, so it's just one of those things that it's a brave new world. There's lots of content and lots of fun stuff. It makes it a lot more fun.
So the cover of the current Maritime, we showed the clip from episode 62 where we talked about the cover, and Sarah, who's been with the artist. Tell me about how you select the cover, because we've visited with you on how you and Steve Shellhorn select the cover of the calendar. How do you select what coach and artwork goes on the cover of the Maritime?
Well, if you don't mind, let's pop this thing open real quick. That way we can talk about that.
Let's do it.
So
here, give me that. I'll hold that.
You're going to hold both cameras?
I'm going to hold both cameras.
I don't think we've ever seen anybody do that. So that's the first multi-camera person. All right. It's good I brought up the right issue. All right, here we go.
There it is.
All right.
Well, before you open it, tell me about that cover and what was your thought process on that, because it really is dynamic. And it was a lot of work, and I know that it was because I watched you guys do it. Tell me about that.
Well, I think we told this on another episode, but we actually did bring out a water truck. We plugged the drain in the parking lot, flooded it, and Sarah took the shot. From there, she stripped in the background. So everything below the coach is real. Everything above the coach is not. But this was not really intended to be a cover at first. It was just she did such a good job making the glamour shot to put online to sell the coach that it just turned out real well. Now, part of my job is to thin it down to 2 or 3 choices, and then I ship them over to the boss, and he picks his favorite. Same thing as the calendar. He takes the cover of the magazine personally. He wants to be involved in that. So this is quite a reflection of Steve as well as us.
That's beautiful. It really is a neat magazine, and
there we go. I'll take that from you.
It's not so much just about Marathon. It's about the lifestyle of luxury RVs.
That's right.
And everything that it entails. So, let's open this thing, and why don't you show me? I'm gonna ask for that phone back so you can double hand it, Pete.
And Todd, are we doing good on the overhead camera? Does it work pretty good?
Perfect.
Okay, so we can go for that.
Here, hand me that.
I'll
hold your phone. Let's just thumb through it and show me a couple of the different aspects of it that you really like, and tell us why.
Well, for our department, what's really fun is, I know this is just an ad, but we love being able to tell something that we don't tell our stories. That's what we are, as storytellers.
Sure.
This tells something that you don't get to see every day. We're one of the only manufacturers that lets people come in and look at the coaches even when they're unfinished. We're very proud of that because the wiring and everything else we do is so high quality, and if you don't show people at that point, they never know it.
Right.
Other than that, you can see there's a lot of very large photography, large images, a lot of photography. We did just get to go to
there's a letter
NASCAR
from
Rally.
Steve in there?
Yep, letter from Steve. Let's see, there's always going to be at least one review of a rally, a club rally. In this case, obviously Newport. This is going to have a lot of stuff that both the club president, some of our owners, and Mickey, a lot of imagery that they took while there. This is, again, a club magazine, so this is always going to be up front. The NASCAR Rally was not a club event. This one was actually sponsored by Marathon and Prevost. And also, Incredible Bank sponsored it as well. This one I got to go to, Mickey got to go to. This was a lot of fun. They got to meet, as you can see, Richard Petty and a lot of the other different owners of the cars, but also these guys also own Marathon coaches.
Absolutely.
So it's a real big family thing to be able to have some sort of a connection to the drivers. We've started adding QR codes so that people can bounce straight to video.
Now, let's talk about the QR codes real quick.
By the way, we actually they let us into Victory Lane, so we actually got to go down there, which was a lot of fun.
So, is that a Mickey photo?
This one was mine. They were nice enough to let me take this one.
Wow,
so
that's a great shot.
that was fun. So you had a question?
Yeah, the QR codes. So how do you scan that code real quick?
Well, if you have an Apple device, it's going to know. So as soon as you use your camera as if you're taking a regular photo, it's going to know it's a QR code.
It's going to pick it up. So just turn on your camera.
Yep.
And throw it on that QR code, and it's going to take you right to a NASCAR video from the rally.
Now, as far as the other Android devices, I'm not sure.
Sure.
So this is another story that this shows a challenge to Mickey. Because you've got to take base storage and make it interesting, which is always challenging to take technical things and make them fun. But this, again, we want to tell a story. We want to tell people
and that's
what
the
we did that's
purpose
different.
of the Maritime.
Oh, and of course, this scary one right here.
And there we are. Now, that photo shoot was really fun, and you had a vision of how you wanted to do that photo.
Everything except for the beautiful locks on your hair that you had there, that was your inspiration. But yes,
I threw the cords on my head.
But yes, we did bring in RGB lights, and we illuminated a panel behind Mal, and had both Sarah and Todd jump in as well. So that gets the story across. The look on your face is definitely a Mal look.
And there's also a photo of myself and Dave. Dave Bash in there.
You got to have Dave.
Got to have Dave in there.
This was cool. This is the other part about telling stories. Tailgating. We've been wanting to show this kind of tailgating or dry camping for a long time, and Mickey and I and Sarah got to actually go with one of our salesmen out into the desert, which was 20 miles out into the desert, and there's nothing out here. No water, no amenities, no nothing, no power. So these coaches are on their own, and so we got to spend the day with them. We brought some steaks out and some potatoes, and it was a ball. It was fun to see that you can be that remote and yet have all the comforts of home go with you.
Wow!
So that was fun. Again, Credible Bank. So
good partners of Marathon.
Yes, and this is a great story for us because a lot of people just assume that, hey, I can't finance one of these, and these guys actually do specialize in financing marathons.
Absolutely.
So this was a big deal. This is another part to tell the story of our different departments. In this case, Alan and Brenda, who do the decor in the coaches, accessorizing, things like that, and they wanted to show just how much accessories can alter the look of a coach by introducing color without actually having to do reupholstery or something like that.
And we've been around them a lot on Marathon Mondays, and so that will be an article that a lot of people will be interested in.
And this is a story that Mickey and I wanted to kind of take to the next step. We usually do something in here telling about the places we've been, a little snippet, but we wanted to make sure they understood that, hey, if you've never been to one of these events, it could be anywhere from 80 people up to 450 people. We can, sometimes it's a simple wine and cheese, but other times we bring in entertainment. It's fully catered, full bar, the whole ball of wax. This was a fun time down in Indio. Someone from marketing usually gets to go to those and set them up. This was, of course, 1281. This was a little different for us. This is another good story to tell because this coach was a little bit more on the Lux side than we usually do. We tend to stay, like this coach that we're sitting in, a little bit more conservative. This one was bright and with golds and a lot of really unique features that Alan was kind of let off his chain a little bit and said, hey, the boss said, take it to the edge. So he did, and it turned out gorgeous. We did a test run when we revealed this in Vegas, and 60% of the people said, yeah, that's a coach I could live in, which we thought this coach would be a little more fringy, a little bit more for maybe 20% of the population.
For sure.
But no, it didn't work out that way. Al did such a good job with it that the majority of people still thought, hey, I can work with that.
And 1281 is the first coach with the ambient intelligence to be able to control features with your voice.
That's correct.
And that worked out really good, but we learned some interesting things about it. You know, the ecosystem doesn't like when a lot of people are talking. It needs to be one person talking, and then it works flawlessly.
Yes, absolutely.
But if if everyone's talking to you at once, it gets confused.
A list of new owners, that's pretty cool.
Yep, and then this one is an upcoming event.
I like it.
Canadian Splendor, of course our friends at Desert Shores, as well as MCC. We have a couple more in here, such as our Hearthside resort in Michigan. This also shows a couple of the coaches that are up for sale. And that's about it, other than, of course, where was that? There it is. One more from Mountain Falls. And, of course, our biggest sponsor is Prevost. They're always with us everywhere we go.
Absolutely.
They bring that, the immensely the high quality of the Prevost chassis to us. So that comes obviously with everything. So anyway, that is it. It is always a huge project for Mickey and I. It takes me about 3 weeks to design it. Mickey starts writing months in advance, and it involves interviews and lots of people to get things approved, photography, corrections. Todd has to do video so that we can actually do the QR codes, get it all in position. It's really is a group effort to make this thing happen.
Well, let's talk about how someone can get this in their hands. I know these go out to marathon coach owners.
Yeah. Here, I'll grab that thing from
give you that one.
There we go.
And I'm back. So tell me, how does someone get the Maritime?
Well, right now,
my simplest way, just to cut you off, is to say, come into Marathon, Florida, Texas, or World Headquarters in Coburg. Take the tour, look at what Marathon's all about, and you can pick up the calendar, you can pick up the Maritime, a couple of back issues of the Maritime. It's always good reading because it's not just about coaches and floor plans. It's about lifestyle and how those floor plans and coaches positively influence people's lives.
That's right. That's right. So that is the easiest way. Come in and get one. Otherwise, you can contact us on social media or contact Mal, or there's also a place to sign up for our newsletter. You can put in a request through there. So there's all sorts of little goodies that you can do to ask for one. Other than that, of course, the easiest way is you buy a coach and then you get one.
Come see me.
We would always love that.
I'm going to tell you right now, come see me. If you want one of these, you need to come into Marathon and take a tour. I want to see you face to face and meet you. That's how we are connecting so much with our people. I know you've heard his name. Many of you have heard his name, Reginald down in Las Vegas. He is a big supporter of Marathon and a big supporter of Marathon Mondays. And so I want to meet you face to face. So wherever we are, how about Bus and Bikers right now? Greg Burton's up at Bus and Bikers.
That's right.
If you're a Bus and Bikers, go say hi to Greg. If you're down in Florida, go see Mark Cassio. Go see Casey Hess. Introduce yourself to these guys and talk to them and say, hey, I saw Marathon Mondays and I'd love to look at the Maritime, and those guys will show you around the Florida location. When Greg is at Texas, he'll show you there. You can come into the Coburg headquarters and meet myself. You can meet Rick and Rod and Jim.
Yeah, we're also going to be out at Mallard Creek soon.
That's right.
And Pacific Shores.
I'll be down at Pacific Shores. You'll probably be with me, and Todd will be there at a couple of them, I'm sure.
And then Hearthside Grove in Michigan will be one that's coming up here as well.
That's right. That's right.
All right, so
where can they find those
if
articles?
You go onto our website, right on the front page, there's the most recent posts, but also there's on the menu at the top, there's something that says lifestyle. And if you scroll down, we have everything kind of sorted by subject matter, including the magazine. It says Maritime Magazine. And those articles have been posted there, as well as additional ones, past ones, and also things that not necessarily are in print. There's some Mondays with Mal episodes in there, and Also things on, if you like animals, there's, when people bring in their pets, we usually do a photo shoot. So there's usually stories about people's pets right there. So yeah, lifestyle, under the lifestyle tab on our website, you'll be able to find it all.
Perfect. All right, well, congratulations, Pete, and to your department for the unboxing of the Maritime. It is absolutely beautiful, and I'm very impressed. Sarah's cover shot is beautiful. I saw you guys doing it with the water truck, and you know, also you get to see beautiful 1281 inside this magazine.
Right.
So, which is still for sale. Have a good week, everyone, and thanks for joining us. We are probably going to be looking at, we'll be out in service probably next week looking at a remodel, and I promise you I'm going to bring you a full tour of this coach, 1185, the Triple Slide H3, which is for sale. So big thanks to everyone here, Mickey and Todd, Sarah and Pete, and have a good week. Be yourself and do good things. I'm out of here.
All right.